はい、こんにちは。ディスコエリジウム、ザ・ファイナルカット続きをプレイしていきます。さあ、いや、さっぱりわからんね。うん。ここ開ける？いや、開くか。レッドだよね、確かね。絶対なんか鍵があるはずなんだよな。あそこを開けるための鍵みたいなものが。うーん。やっぱこの上の建物怪しい。あ、ここの下にもあったのか。どうやって行くんだっけ？お。あ、いけない？どっちか、こっちから？ああ、あったね、こんなんね。もう一回やれるかな？視覚計算。視覚計算。よいしょ。うん。他はなんかなさそうだけどね。よし、じゃあこれで行ってみよう。72。いけるでしょ。オッケー。お、すごい。もうちょっと引きで見たいな。
10 meters away, other shades are lined up in an orderly manner. Automatic rifles primed. A gust of wind blows by. The coats of the firing squad flap slowly in the breeze. A single person stands on the side. Droplets of rain fall on the wooden planks, the surrounding sand dunes. The clouds block out any rays of light. A long time has passed since the moment of this fusillading. Rain and brine have since washed all the blood away. Not a trace remains.
これは何なんだ?
The abundance of bullet holes leads to two options. Either an inordinate amount of execution or they did not use a conscience round, where only one soldier has the loaded rifle. Looks like this was a mass execution with everyone fully armed.
壁に向かって立つ人たちを見る。
A host of men, probably in everyday clothes, ragged from the conflict and covered in dust. They were not sitting, a common practice for executions in some nations, as demonstrated by the height level of the bullet holes. They stand, facing the wall. It's impossible to discern any details about their personality or background. Ordinary people, familiar, each and every one of them.
この人たちは誰だろ
う? Collateral damage on the path toward normalcy and progress. Such is your belief, officer. Maybe you should change it. They were praying, screaming.
一列に並ぶ兵士たちを見る。
7 men in combat uniforms and dark coats, holding automatic rifles aimed at the people. Soldiers from some side, but from which one?
横に立っている人物を見る。
The commandant, the one who gives the order. Machine gun fire crackling through the air. The lights of the muzzle flashes dancing on his face.
キム、誰が誰を処刑したんだ？
I don't know. I don't know who died here, lined up beside that horrible wall. It could have been any of the parties involved in the revolution. Perhaps the ones executed here were the loyalist conservatives, killed by the communists at the start of the Civil War. Or it could have been the communists, put to death during the last stretch of the conflict by the coalition forces.
Remember what Trent Heidelstein said about Veld?
フェルドの社員たちとか彼らの資産が革命側に奪われたときに
Another likely scenario.
Or maybe.
連合軍と言ったよな。壁の前に立たされていたのが彼らだったなんてことはあるかな。
Yeah, it's very unlikely the coalition forces were the ones who died here. They were always the last ones against the wall. To be honest, if a coalition member was anyone in this situation, it was the commandant, the superior giving the orders.
A cold sea wind blows away the figures.
サンデーフレンド？
As you approach,
サンデーフレンドだ。
and greets you with
こんなとこにいた。
a wave. He appears completely at ease, like a common holidaymaker.
Ah, super. It's the officer. I was not expecting to run into you again, but things have a funny way of turning out, no? What brings you down to the scenic Martinez coast?
俺にはあんたがこんなところで何をしてるのかの方が気になるがね。
Well, that's très simple. I was visiting the fishing village just north of here. They have applied for a series of microloans to revitalize the market. And well, I wish to see the situation firsthand. And then, well, I had some extra time on my hands, so I decided to stroll down here. It's quite peaceful, isn't it?
あの辺りで集団処刑が行われたことはあんたなら知ってるだろう？
Really? Here? How can you be sure?
一つにはあの壁は弾痕だらけだった。
Ah? Is that what those pockmarks are? I might have guessed.
素晴ら
How
しい。
much history is contained right here, if only one knows where to look for it.
You feel like there's something you could say here, if only you really knew what was going on.
実は他にあんたに聞きたいことがあるんだ。
Ah bon? I'm all ears, officer.
委員会を設立する手助けをしてほしいんだ。ラ・レスポンサビリティの所在をはっきりさせようと思ってな。
My friend, if it's la responsabilité you're after, I have good news for you. There's no need to form such a committee, because it already exists.
存在している。
God, of course it does. These moral intern types.
The Comité de responsabilité de Revachol, it acts as a sort of clearinghouse for coalition activities. To put it simply, they are the ultimate arbiters of la responsabilité in this part of the world.
Yes, this is just the sort of reasonable authority you're looking for.
I would offer to connect you with the committee myself, but alas, I am not actually in Martinez.
What? Where is he then?
どっちも同じようなもんだな。じゃああんたは一体どこにいるんだ？
Why, officially, I am still in La Delta, preparing for an upcoming conference on fuel oil derivatives. I'm only in Martinez in an unofficial capacity. That's why it would be extremely irregular, or potentially even inappropriate for me to intercede with the committee concerning a district I'm not officially in.
それなら委員会にはどうやってコンタクトを取ればいいんだ？
Well, under ordinary circumstances, the committee contacts you. But if you have information of a vital interest, they might be willing to entertain an exception. In which case, I would advise you to contact them via Coalition Warship Archer.
アーチャー。
Officer, you mean to say that you haven't noticed the giant Coalition aerostatic peacefully patrolling the skies over Rivashal?
そんなもんが空を飛んでるんだ。軍艦っていう飛行機。
You follow the man's gaze out toward the west. There, hanging some distance above the horizon, you can just make out a strange silhouette. It looks to your eye like some kind of long metallic fish suspended beneath a number of ceiling fans.
ちょっと見てみたいかも。なんと素晴らしい。見ているだけで力がみなぎる。
Isn't it? A triumph of both technical ingenuity and international cooperation. I, for one, feel much safer knowing it's up there watching all of us.
委員会と話をするのになぜアーチャーを通す必要がある？
You see, in addition to being an airborne artillery platform, Coalition Warship Archer is also the linchpin of the Coalition's surveillance and communications infrastructure in Revachol.
待ってくれ、俺たちは見張られてるのか？
And listening. It has the most objective vantage point in the entire city. Not to mention a vast array of radio, photographic, and meteorological monitoring instruments. I find it a great comfort to know there are benevolent powers watching over all, in strict accordance with the Wayfarer Act and the Bristol-Mune Convention.
で、連合軍艦にコンタクトを取るにはどうしたらいいんだ？
This is quite the problem. Very tricky. Of course, the Archer has orders to fire on any unidentified aerostatics that might approach it, so it might be safer to get in touch from the ground. But in that case, you would require a radio transmitter capable of broadcasting on coalition frequencies. And that kind of technology naturally isn't typically available for non-coalition use. Yes, I suppose there might be some way to circuit bend your way onto those frequencies, but you'd have to be one of those techno-tinkerers to do it.
そういう技術者に心当たりは？
Unfortunately not, no. I don't have the pleasure. I am merely a representative of the coalition government, not very well versed in technology. But you...
Sounds like something that programmer we met in the church might be able to help with.
Let me just say that I have complete confidence
なるほど
in
ね。
the RCM. I'm sure you'll figure something out.
お時間をどうも。
Always my pleasure to be of assistance to the RCM. Godspeed, and if we don't meet again, bonne chance.
技術的な専門家を見つける。話が進んだ。さて。ドア、建物、隠れ場所、先導者はこの中か。この中なの？いや、でも何もタスクは進んだ感じしないな。一旦教会行こうか。お。リードプログラマーが探していた住所と同じ。はいはい。ルビー見てる人いないかな。
Oh, hey, man. It's good to see you. Goodbye, officer.
Welcome back.
この辺りで赤い髪の女を見かけなかったか？
No,
No.
Just now?
it's pretty desolate here. I only hear the dogs bark at night and see the shadows move down the coast.
Teenagers skulking around. Gang members looking for a hole in the Union's defenses. Maybe Ruby too. But she wouldn't be able to tell from here.
俺たちがここでやろうとしていることを考えるといい兆候とは思えないな。
Superstition. We can turn the grim desolation into a fun dance club, and thus also help turn this hellhole around.
Yo, man. What's on your mind?
お、君の制限感知力で連合のアーチャーに連絡を取るのを手伝ってくれないか？多分無理だろうな。
Trying to get a line with the big bad, are ya? Those are some serious frequencies you want to mess with.
Come on, Noid. I think we owe him.
Ourselves right. He's one of us now. Yeah, alright. But if you're going to sync up with them, you're gonna need a serious wave generator of your own. You understand what I'm saying?
ランズエンドの電波中継塔はどうだ？あれでは足りないか？
Not likely. Scoped that spot a while back. It's shortwave stuff, mostly commercial. Plus, it's all rusted out.
Build it ourselves! We built this nightclub! We can build anything!
待ってくれ、電波送信機は自作できるものなのか？
Yeah, maybe. Tech-wise, radio's not the spookiest thing around. Our part's finding an antenna big enough to align with those megalo frequencies.
An antenna hardcore enough to shake the whole world!
そんな巨大なものを？
Maybe not that big, but pretty big.
アンテナを立てる場所を考える。概念化。つまらない刑事のつまらない考え。なんかよくわかんないけどマイナス1されてる。悲しい。元気でな。概念化。概念化は今プラスもマイナスもついてないね。プライチ。概念化。プラ2。うん。これ、ステータスでソートできればいいんだけどね。終わり。プラ2で終わり。
Yo, man. What's on your mind?
28か。6ね。違う、6じゃない、5か。5で14、9。9出さないといけない。いけるさ。
Close your eyes.
Wow!
Unfold the mental map of Martinez. It's morning. You're standing on the plaza before the whirling in rags.
今は朝。お前はワーリングインラグズ前の広場、ワーリングインラグズ前の広場に立っている。湾の方を向く。
Your eye follows the tiles west. You see a bench and a few twisted, pitiful trees. Then, just water.
集合住宅の方を向く。
Beyond the unkempt backyard rises a monstrous assemblage of concrete, plaster, and corrugated sheet metal.
環境交差点の方を向く。
You turn around. The morning sun is blinding. You bring your hand to your brow, and a great shadow materializes before you. A towering beast, frozen in mid-air.
フィリペ3世の像だな。
Centaur Man is made of metal. With the right gear, we could make it work.
Yeah! Connect the centaur to the lorries! Unite the whole roundabout in hardcore waves!
Huh? Sounds like Egg saying you could use some of the spare cables to rig up the stalled motor lorries and increase the wavelength. Which would pretty much make the old roundabout one giant antenna.
One roundabout! One wavelength! Hardcore!
うん。それで仕事が片付くなら細部に興味はない。
You're really going about this the wrong way then. It details are the best part.
We have the amps. We have the cables. We're
え、もう
almost
なんか
ready.
準備されてる。
He's right. All we're missing now is the transceiver itself. Soon
無
as you find
線
one,
トラ
we'll
ン
be
シ
all
ー
set.
バーどこで手に入る？
I don't know. Buy one, steal one. I don't know your cop ways.
And before you ask, no, you can't have the
Oh.
radio from my cinema.
それ最初に思いついたけど、ダメか。あいつは使えそうなもの持ってないのか？
Can't do it. We just got this place set up. Can't go risking Egg's most important equipment.
ラジオコンピューターにトランシーバーが内蔵されているか？
Yeah, probably.
そう
Thing is,
か
you'd。have to be an engineer to get it out. I'd stick with regular radios if I were you.
無線機なら港の近くの事務所で見たと思う。
Some equipment from Arbor could work. Worth the legwork. at
港
least.
の近くの事務所？質屋。
Maybe. If you want to pay money like some kind of money lord. Yeah, pawn shop could have one.
いいか、キム、心配しなくてももっといいやつを自分で見つけてやるさ。
I highly doubt that. When I crank the volume on my dyno wave, it's like you're in the
So
front row at the National Concert Hall.
いいだろう、キム、その挑戦を受けてたと。
A cop on cop challenge. Not bad. Let's see what you come up with. Though I have to say, cop cars and lorries usually pack the best equipment in town.
よし、それならトランシーバーを見つける必要があるな。
While you're gone, me and Egg will get the rest of the gear together. Meet us back here
まあ、あり
when
が
you
と
got it.
う。トランシーバー見つければいいんだね。
Hey, Innocence Dolores Day liked little figurines, right?
どういうこと？
Liked holding little men between her fingers, remember?
なんだと？
You have the headless foul rider
あ
figurine. You
ー
should give it to her. Win her back.
何を言っている？誰の心を取り戻せと言うんだ？彼女のことはどうしようもないぞ。ずっと昔に死んでる歴史上の人物なんだからな。
Don't be so pessimistic. Love doesn't die that easily.
タスクに加える？この像質屋で買った像ドロレス・デイってこの、あれでしょ？ここに書かれてる人でしょ？このステンドグラスに。何言ってんだ？
So very, very, very nifty. Nifty and mysterious. This is surely what the figurines are for.
何のタスクこれ？ドロレス・デイに彫像を渡す。もし会うことがあれば、持っているすべての彫像をプレゼントしろ。奇妙なタスクだがそうするのがいい。何言ってるんだ？なんかクリアできるタスクが欲しいな。
Of humanism stands above you. A precious and complex wax painting on a single pane of glass. A crack runs across the length of her body. Her face oval and sad.
この像を彼女に渡すのは無理だな。
Why?
ステンドグラスの窓だぞ。
That does seem to be a problem. Maybe you meant something else?
例えばどんな？この件はまだ終わりじゃないのか？
I don't know. What are we thinking
え？
of? Part of your mind has gone on to other things already. The mother of humanism
視
towers
覚
above you.
計算。
A wax painting on a cracked pane of glass. Nothing has changed in her expression.
視覚計算ね。さっき視覚計算。プラスの服を着てたような気がするんだけど。よいしょ。以上。いやー、厳しいか。
mother of humanism stands above
58%。
a precious and complex wax painting on a single pane of glass.
いきます。
A crack runs across the left. Nothing.
ダメで
Just
す
the。edge of the crack sparkles in the dark. There may
これはだからもうレベル上げちゃえばいいんだよね。視覚計算、視覚計算。ああ、でもあと1回か。
the mother of humanism stands.
72%。
A precious and complex a jigsaw of
Yes.
broken shards falls into place in front of you. A ghostly reconstruction of
あ、
the
完成してる。
stained glass window. Before it was
私の
shattered, there was a
頭の中では完成してる。
younger one and a text. A light motif below them both.
このモザイク画はどうして割れた？
Unknown. A motor carriage, a gunshot, someone falling into it, or maybe just hooligans looking for something to break.
こっちの年のいった女は誰だ？
The escutcheon on her throne says, Irene the Navigator. She is depicted as an older woman wearing thick-rimmed eyeglasses, holding a golden rights apfel in one hand and a scepter in the other. This is the queen her innocent stay advised. Above, she herself is whole. Small figures of wise men, common men, worshippers walk up the stairs to stand at her feet. Secret servicemen, 30 years, stand in a row guarding her. It must have taken years to produce this work in all its dizzying detail.
標語は何と書かれている？
Below both women, in luminous black letters, Après la vie, mort. Après la mort, la vie de nouveau.
何語？
And then along the left side, Après le monde, la gré. Après le gré, le monde de nouveau.
わかりません。
After life, death.
これが
After
あれか。
death,
訳か。
again. After the world, the pale. After the pale, the world again. This is the great leitmotif of humanism, a summary of the effect of the discovery of this isola, the insulindian, on human thinking, a tremendous sea change akin to finding life after death.
木警部補、ここに書かれていた言葉は、生の後に死、その後に点々点。
Death, life again. After the world, the pale. After the pale, the world again. This exaltation is common in Dolorian sacralism. In the early years, it was even incorporated as the RCM slogan. No more, however.
どうしてだ？
It was deemed subservient to use a strongly moral intern-related motto. We already suspected of bootlicking. The sentence was also seen as too feminine. It was a macho thing.
RCM の今の標語はどんなだ？
Justice, union, prudence, and force.
うん。クールだな。いや、もう一つの方が好きだ。
So do I.
The mother of humanism towers above you.
これ、像はどうやってあげればいいんだ、これ。
Pane of glass. Nothing has changed in her expression. Hey,
なんだ、俺か？
yes, you. Word on the street is you're ready to start building communism again.
聞くところってどこで聞いたんだ？
You keep saying things like, down with the bourgeoisie, eat the rich, sodomize the landowners, impale all people who have more than 25 real in their pocket, literally murder all human beings regardless of their political beliefs. That kind of stuff.
そうか、俺の言いそうなことだ。
Funky style. Very funky. So tell me, do you have any questions before we fire up the big communism builder? Or do we get right down to it?
思考を受け入れるか。袖をまくって共産主義構築を始める。
Oh yeah. Get the firing squads and the animal wagons ready.
待ってくれ、なんだって銃殺隊？そんなの聞いてないぞ。
Too late to back out now. You can't make an omelet
後戻りできんだっ
with
て。
a few alien eggs.
袖をさらにまくり上げ、澄んだ空気を吸い込む。マゾフ派社会なんちゃらかんちゃら。まあもうこれ以上思考はどうにもならんのですが。
Yes, what is it?
うん。非常に低い。マイナス10。マイナス10きついな、これ。怪しい人間を見かけなかったか？例えばルビーという名の女などは？
What? No, no one's suspicious around here.
うん。いない。じゃあ、無線探しに行くか。こっからじゃワープができない。ちょっと。本筋からまたそれてしまうが。うん。事務所って、無線機がある事務所って、あそこかな？ちょっと遠いけど。ここか。なんかあったよね。
The already familiar cold
あ、
touch of
公衆電話
plastic
か。
welcomes you
無
as you
線
pick up
機。
the handset. A common office
これ
radio,
だ。
like any of those found in countless waiting rooms, lounges, and other semi-public spaces all over the world.
キム、どうやったらトランシーバーを外せる？
There's usually a little switch somewhere. Ah, yes, it's the one that says release.
解除スイッチを動かす。
The lock disengages with a nice click.
お、性
You
能
may
十分
now
ですって。
safely remove the transceiver unit.
トランシーバーを調べる。
There's nothing obviously remarkable about it. It's about the size of a common pasta box, with knobs of molded plastic. What else is there to say? If this transceiver were a person, it would be an accountant at a large logistics firm. Perfectly competent, but unexceptional.
信頼性が高く控えめか。俺好みのトランシーバーだ。
Yes, reliable and unassuming are definitely words I'd use to
それ
describe.
皮肉込みだよね、きっとね。
Regardless, the transceiver appears to take your words as a compliment.
本当にこれで連合と連絡が取れると思うか？
You've surprised me more than once during the course of our investigation, but I have to say it still seems like a remote scenario.
あんたのダイナウェーブと比べてどうだ？
It doesn't, frankly. Don't get me wrong. This appears to be a fine transceiver for a general audience,
あら、
but it's not something a serious
そして
radio
なぜ
guy
か
would use.
なぜか小便飛ばしっこ競争が。これでタスク完了したの？小便飛ばしっこ競争？嘘。それはわからなさすぎるな。どれ？小便飛ばしっこ来た。さっぱりわかんなかったな。これなの？まあ、何か、あれかな、キムと言い争いじゃないけど、なんか勝負事をふっかけて、それに、決着がつけば、このタスクは完了するみたいな、そんな感じなのかな。まあいいや。仕方ない、我慢してこれを使うか。
I suppose it will.
With its transceiver gone, the radio has ceased its persistent buzzing. It is as silent as a headstone.
よし、帰ろ これだね。よくあるノーブランドの無線トランシーバー。世界に数万台はあるはずだ。どれも見分けがつかないだろう。境界移動して。
Yo, man. What's on your mind?
無線トランシーバーを見つけたぞ。
So your cop ways came through again. Impressive. Let's see what you got.
港のそばの事務所で見つけたものだ。
An ordinary white-collar transceiver joins the hardcore underground. Yeah, this should do nicely.
A nice story to tell himself. But don't forget, it's
なんでみんなしてそんなこと言う
just
の
a normal, run-of-the-mill transceiver unit.
Alright, Lawfarer, we're ready to do this. I have to warn you though, once we commit, there's no stopping until we've seen it all the way through. No
オッケー
pauses, no
一
second
発勝負
chances.
ね。
This is our shot. You got it? So any cop prep you gotta do, you do it now. We'll wait if we have to.
ん俺は警察としてどんな準備をしておけばいい？
How should I know? It's up to everyone to know their own needs. Whatever keeps your body and soul in top working
Oh.
condition.
At the very least, you should make sure you're wearing a good pair of gloves.
手さばきか。
Personally, I'm gonna make sure I've got a steady supply of prep tired handy.
待って、給電装置か何かが必要だと言ってなかったか？
Don't sweat that. Egg found something down
Eh.
near the waterlock. Some maniac abandoned a perfectly good power source.
それは俺が海に落とした内燃四輪車のことか？
That explains why it was covered in cop colours. Whole thing's totaled. Lucky for us, the engine
まあ全然使ってもらって構わないけど。
All I have to do is run a cable
まあちょっと
from the
一
engine
旦
up the central. Do what you have
一旦
to
ね。
do.
Hardcore church! No!
Like
ああ、オッケー、
Elysium.
大丈夫、大丈夫。ちょっと、手さばきを。手さばき。手さばきって手袋ぐらいだよな、でも。手と目の強調。まあ、この辺も手さばき関係ないけど、つけとくか。そんなもんだよな。手さばきプラ2。
Yo, man.
よし。
The rest of the crew has got to stay here. Can't afford to let the beat drop right as we're getting off the ground.
行こ
Much love to my hardcore antenna brothers!
Good luck, guys.
Try to squeeze in a promo spot while you're on air. We've got to start putting the word out.
Back across the waterlock. At least we're getting our exercise in today.
You can grab that amplifier, officer. And you start spooling up those cables. Maybe we can get it all in one go.
う。移動するわけだ。相当コード伸ばしてつないでるね、これね。こっからあの像のところまで。
Just plug that in there, would ya?
It's done. I believe we are ready.
Yeah, as ready as we're gonna be. Grab one of these can sets, both of ya. I've got it rigged so that we can all listen, but only your cop talk will broadcast. No idea what we're gonna hear when I turn this thing on, so be prepared for anything. Trick is to keep transmitting your request until the big bad acknowledges ya. You got that?
待て、誰も応答してくれなかったら。
Honestly, that might be for the best. Like I said, the signs coming off this whole project are seriously uncharted. Don't know how much juice we've got, so we better get to it. You ready?
ああ。
Good. We're live in 2, 1. That's your cue, lawman.
連合アーチャー。こちら RCM のハリアー・デュボア警部補だ。応答せよ。
Is there anybody there?
悲しい。
The lieutenant looks up at you with a nervous glance. Nervous for who, though? You cannot say.
Give it another go.
こちらデュボア警部補応答せよ。
Perhaps you're simply imagining it, but it seems as though you're learning to pull apart the fibers of this auditory felt. You focus on one strand in particular, one that sounds very nearly human.
Nein, Liebling,
Na,
das
klar.
lasse ich nicht zu. Wie kannst du unseren Jungen bloß auf einen dieser Dinger nach Brede fortschicken?
もしもし、アーチャー、聞こえるか？
Marianne hat mir erzählt, dass Oscar nicht mehr seit er auf einem Luftschiff aus Graz zurückgekommen ist. Sie halten ihn die Psychologen für vollkommen normal. Aber sie hat das Gefühl,
何これ？
bei einer Rückkehr mit einem Fremden zusammenzuleben.
You can't make out a word of this gibberish.
何を言ってるのかさっぱりわからん。
Liebling, bitte. Er ist unser einziges Kind. Er kann doch auch nächstes Jahr zur
ただの電話家族同士の電話みたいな。
Me neither. Just keep trying. We'll get through these radio spookers eventually.
こちらデュボア警部補聞こえるなら応答せよ。
Again.
聞こえるか？寒いな。キムキム回線に割り込むな。
I didn't say anything, did
え、何も言ってない。怖っ。
Someone has been maintaining it. The wiring has been repaired.
An uncomfortable silence falls over the connection.
It's been a long winter. Long and cold.
え？何怖い。今のもあんたじゃないってのか？
I promise you I didn't, even though it certainly sounds like me.
何が起きてるんだ？
Sounds like your partner's being haunted by his past self. Or maybe he's trying to warn himself. From the future, most like. I don't know much about radios.
急に始まるファンタジー。何
It's just a little bit of
ホラーかもしれないファンタジーじゃなくて。
A little eerie, perhaps, but perfectly explicable.
説明のつかないことではない。
Outwardly, the lieutenant exudes reassurance, but you can sense a lingering doubt in his voice. Pale seems to be missing from your records.
ペイルね。
Natürlich halten ihn die Psychologen für vollkommen normal.
どうすればいいんだ？もちろん精神分析は異常なしだというわ。
You just have to embrace the spookiness. Now give it another go.
聞こえるか？こちらデュボア警部補。
But someone has been maintaining it.
まただ。
Wiring has been repaired.
同じセリフださっきと。
Dubois, please acknowledge.
怖い。違う。デュボア応答せよって来たのか。こちらデュボア警部補聞こえるか？
Liebling, bitte. Er ist unser einziges Kind.
Where's
Where's Sebastian? Please identify.
The signals are getting increasingly mixed. Plucking Archer's signal from this will be like isolating a single strand from a tangle of hair.
This isn't looking good. The radio spookers are winning.
どうする？
Don't know. If we can't get around the interference, we're in deep trouble. Hold on. I think Ed gave me some sort of checklist. Says here, main step, volume to the max. That's not too helpful. Okay. It also says, inspect connections for hardcore clarity. So let's try that.
どうやって接続を調べるんだ？
My guess, you climb up the centaur, man. See if there's anything obviously interfering with them. Maybe you've got some technical law science.
Someone has been maintaining it.
Something about this setup seems dimly familiar, but you'll be damned if you know what you're supposed to do about it.
よし、やるか。すごいコードがぐるぐる巻きに。
Your gloves give you a solid grip on the metal bar. This feels pleasingly familiar. You don't exactly cut a lithesome figure, but after several moments of scrambling, you manage to hoist yourself atop the monument.
全然字幕が出てこないから、なんか今の今のセリフの訳がわからない。
That performance was frankly an embarrassment.
みっともなかったな。誰にも見られてないといいが。
You're doing all right, detective. Just keep your focus on the task at hand.
接続部を調べる。
The connection itself is nothing more than a little braid of exposed wire wrapped about the hoof of the horse. A copper fetter it cannot slip. The whole monument is covered in a thin but durable layer of oil and grime. It's obvious no one has cleaned it in years.
Well, what's it look like?
像全体が変な油にまみれてる。接続部に良くない気がする。
That's not good. We should have cleaned the centaur man first. Pretty rude that we didn't. Hang on, I'm looking at Egg's checklist. He says, if all fails, bend antenna. Narrow is the hardcore way. That make any sense to you?
何を使ってアンテナを曲げるんだ？
It says here, muscle style.
マッスルスタイルね。わかった。それがどう役に立つんだ？
Good question. Maybe he's saying we're casting too wide a net. Gotta narrow our receiving band so we pick up the big bad without the spookers. Since you're already up there, I say...
The speed freak is right. The responsibility is yours and yours alone. There's no turning back now.
うん。手さばき、ちょっとブーストしといてよかった。レッドだよね、これね。うん。フィリペ3世を見る。
You are face to face with Philip III. The Bronze King looks toward the west. Something about his features seems bizarrely distorted.
馬を見る。
This faithful steed is in nearly as poor a condition as its rider.
上を見る。
A clear night sky. The stars make for a brilliant display. Across the river, you can see the lights of Coalition warship Archer floating above Rivershore East.
下は見たらいけない気がする。オプションが減りそうだよね。じゃあもうこれで行くしかないね。16だから9、7出ればいい。合計で7。お願い。はぁ。失敗したっぽいなぁ。ああ。危な。
You allow the broken hunk of metal to clatter to the ground. It wasn't clear to you it did anything
ここぞ
anyway.
という時に私失敗するよな。
Nein, Liebling.
Huh? Sounds like that was a false move. Signal's even worse now.
面目ない。面目ない。よかれと思ってやったんだ。
The thing is, trying's not enough. Now it's the results that count.
いや、ほんと面目ない。
He's right. This was your responsibility.
I'm gonna turn all the dials to maximum. Probably gonna burn out our power supply, but that might be the only way.
A maelstrom of sound, swirling and swirling around an invisible point. It's mounting, mounting.
Nicht mehr derselbe ist, seit er auf einem Luftschiff aus Grad zurückgekommen ist.
Lieutenant Dubois, please respond.
来た。
It's too much. Your eardrums are
まずい。
about to burst.
A long winter, long and cold.
And then nothing.
Try it now.
こちら RCM のハリー・デュボア警部補だ。応答せよ。
This is Warship Archer. We are acknowledging and accepting you. Though we're still getting quite a bit of interference.
This is as good as it's gonna get. I'll keep us aligned as long as I can, but this isn't a social mission. You got it?
There is so much you wish you could ask, but you probably only have time for 1 or 2 questions before the signal is lost.
Please be advised that you are speaking on a public frequency.
一つか二つ。
What is your request?
公共周波数帯であることを忠告する。倫理機関の本当の望みは何だ？
A very important question with a very simple answer. We want humanity to endure.
答えてくれんだ。
Beyond that, it may be said that we are the inheritors and stewards of Dolores Day's legacy.
なるほど、その遺産というのは
Immeasurable. It includes interstellar travel, 3 scientific revolutions, humanism, internationalism, the welfare state, and balance of terror theory. Nothing less than the intellectual foundation of our modern world. The role of the Moralist International is twofold: to buy humanity sufficient time to perfect itself, and to patiently guide it along the road while protecting it from ideological highwaymen and eschatologians.
倫理機関はどういう意味でドロレス・デイの遺産の守り手なんだ？
It was established by many of the same founding party members who elected Dolores Day, and who, after her assassination, dedicated their lives to the continuation of their political and intellectual projects.
恐怖の均衡理論ってのは何だ？
It's an elegant idea, one of the cornerstones of the modern era. In short, it holds that durable, lasting peace is possible when the major powers are capable of inflicting unacceptable and irreversible destruction upon one another. Because no rational state is willing to accept the risk of such a calamity befalling its own people. All powers are incentivized to de-escalate conflicts before they reach the point of no return.
それでその通りになってるのか？
For the most part, it has. The world is certainly not free of violent conflict, But in the modern era, we have made great strides to reduce its frequency, duration, and severity.
さっき言ってた追いはぎや終末論者というのは誰のことだ？
There are many. The communists say they are the next dialectical step in an inexorable spiral of progress. They claim to have resolved the inherent contradictions of moralism and believe they're just one revolution away from establishing a humanist paradigm. The fascists say they are both the ancestors of and the successors to the loyalism. In other words, they believe that Dolores Day's reign simply represents a glorious phase of expansion within a greater Franco-Nigerian heritage. They criticize the DeLorean project for accepting and integrating new peoples rather than forcefully subjugating them. And then, there are our prodigal cousins, the Vazan Social Democrats, who hold our same values and have even adopted many of our same rights and iconography, though they persist in rejecting the umbrella of moralism.
人類の未来に対し思想的じゃない脅威はあるのか？
Yes. Atomic war, environmental degradation, resource exhaustion, viral pandemic, supervolcanism, runaway anthropogenetic collapse. This is why it is critical for the international community to work toward peace and cooperation between nations. There's simply too much at stake.
RCM はどういう位置を占めているんだ？
The RCM exists under the umbrella of the coalition, just as the coalition exists under the umbrella of the morally internal. At the same time, the RCM is not exactly of the coalition.
どういう意味だ？
It's our understanding that the RCM's organizational structure predates the coalition. We believe it may even be modeled after the communal brigades themselves.
There is some truth to that.
But in a practical sense, it's the responsibility of the ethics divisions to ensure that both organizations are working towards the same ends.
RCM は共産主義時代のレバショールの名残だというのか？
One now committed to upholding moralist values. Strange, isn't it? History is a river coursing ever downward. Occasionally, its course is redirected in mysterious and unexpected ways.
道の終わりには何があるんだ？
Let us answer your question with a question. Have you ever seen evening fall over the old town of Advesperashi?
アドベスペラシト旧市街。さあな、最近物忘れがひどいんだ。
If you had, then you would remember. It is one of the great wonders of the world, impossible to mistake or forget. The heart of the city, the old town, is a district composed of weathered marble, comprising thousands of columns and arcades arranged around a series of grand plazas. During the day, it's a beautiful sight, equal to any of the great cities of Pericarnassus. But as the sun sets, the shadows cast by those columns and arcades weave together to form an intricate ombre lattice. When you see it, you suddenly understand. It was all built for you, for this very moment.
The name Advesperaskit means evening comes.
自分のため、俺のために作られた？
For you, for all of humanity. Not only that, but you are also part of that centuries-long plan. When you cross one of the open plazas, your own shadow is effortlessly woven into the great lattice work, a deliberate synthesis of humanity, art, and the natural world.
ありえん。
It is possible. We grew up there. We have seen the lattice with our own eyes.
アドベスペラシト。ドロレス・デイはそこで体感されたんだろ？
She was. There are even those who say
その話聞いたっけ？いやもう横文字覚えられんて。
in preparation for her, centuries before her arrival. That's why the old town is sometimes called the ceremonial heart of humanity. Of course, such a city does not spring from nowhere, nor does it endure without effort. Its construction was the work of many generations, and its preservation is an equally monumental responsibility.
何も言わずただ辺りを見ます。
The wind is pulling at the giant tarps that cover the blasted facade of the Capeside apartments. A moment of hissing static as the conversation
終わっ
lulls.
た。
Lieutenant Dubois,
あ、びっくりし
are
た
you。still there?
This is it. Final question time. I can already feel our alignment getting shaky.
Is everything alright? We lost the connection for a moment.
最後はだって先に進むか。いいか、どうしても責任委員会と連絡が取りたいんだ。
Acknowledged. To reach the committee, all you need to do is fill out the appropriate request form and submit it to the liaison for public affairs. If the liaison accepts your request, you will be invited to address the committee at their next quarterly public hearing. We believe the next hearing is scheduled for July.
もっと早く委員会に連絡を取りたかったら
Not a problem. If this is a time-sensitive matter, you may file an emergency address request.
結
with the
局
liaison
書面で
for
か。
public affairs. They typically respond within a few weeks.
実はここから委員会に直接つないでくれたらと思ってるんだが、
We're afraid that is quite impossible, Lieutenant Dubois.
どういうことだ
We cannot transfer you to the committee
うん、なる
because
ほど
we
ね。
are not entrusted with that responsibility. We are simply the second signaler.
なるほど、実権はもっと上の連中が握ってるってことか。
That is the nature of the command pyramid, yes. Most modern organizations work in a similar way, even the SCM.
You're getting out-tangled by the big bad. Time to try something else.
さて。15。55以上出さないといけないわけでね。うん、ちょっと喋れてないけど。いや、無理だなぁ。行くか、でも。
What part of
そうよ
need to reach the
ね。
committee doesn't she understand? Time to lay it all out.
よく聞け。委員会に相談しなければならない。緊急を要する個人的な問題があるんだ。
We will hear your request, Lieutenant Dubois. Although we must inform you that the committee does not typically intervene in personal matters.
That's only because they haven't heard about your problems yet.
俺の相棒実は何も思い出せないんだ。
So, you're experiencing acute memory loss. We don't see how this is the committee's business.
Good God, here we go.
俺がなくしたものと何らかの関係があるんだろ
We're afraid we don't understand at all. What does this something have to do with your lost memory?
う。持っていたものをなくしてしまったらどうしたらいいかわからないんだ。どうしようかな。できれば委員会と直接話をしたい。できれば委員会と直接話をしたい。
Unfortunately, we cannot accept your request.
そうだよ
We
ね。
really have no idea what you're talking about. But we are quite sure it is beyond the purview of the committee of responsibility. Now, please excuse us while we pay the receiving frequency. This connection will be cleared in 4, 3...
Quick, hang up on her first.
おい、待って、行かないで。
2, 1... Après le monde, le gris.
何そのその締めのセリフ何
And the line goes quiet.
終わった。
The lieutenant gives a long sigh as he removes his headphones.
もういろいろ失敗しすぎたよ。
I think it's best for you to climb off the statue now, detective. Your real work is done here.
ちょっと待ってくれ。
The sun-warmed bronze tingles beneath your fingertips and between your thighs. Your legs have grown stiff. You've been up here quite a while. You look around. The strikebreakers are still shouting their slogans and waving their hand-painted signs. Beneath you, the lieutenant and the speed freak have begun disconnecting a few cables. There's really no point. You're beginning to feel like the little child who refuses to come down off the carousel.
降りよ。
About time. You grab that amp, forget the cables. Need to leave some evidence of our antenna to inspire future generations.
What's one more trip across the waterlock?
あ、うまくいかなかった。
Alright, Cotman. We've held up more than our share of this collaboration. I hope you recognise how much the hardcore underground came through for you.
はい。
If you want to show your appreciation, we can still use your help.
え
Egg is the one to talk to.
またなんかタスク増やす気？
Hardcore! Mutual aid!
ハードコアの絆を汚すことのないようにするよ。
Sure, you have to say that now, but it's alright. I'll put this tech away later. Think there's an extra can set, in case you want to grab a souvenir.
ヘッドホンとかもらえんだ。
I don't think anyone will miss it.
ここに入ってんだね、きっと。入ってる。内陸帝国プラ2。専門家仕様のヘッドセット。やったね。やったねじゃないな。もろもろいろいろ失敗してるんだよな。これね。連絡はしたからいいか。いや、そういうことじゃないんだよな。誰の責任なのか決まったかというと決まらなかったからな。またレベル上がったのか。はい。では、今回はこの辺で一旦区切りたいと思います。いや、もちろん面白いイベントでしたね。そのアーチャーというものの実物を見てみたい気もするけれども、それは叶わずといったところで。はい。ではよろしければ次回もご覧ください。ご視聴ありがとうございました。